Good evening, brothers and sisters, lovers, haters, boys, girls and vibrations. Hope everybody's well this evening. Love and light to everyone. I'm a bit frustrated to say the least. I can't get in touch with Paul. Doesn't seem like he's having a very good time. You know, and not gonna lie, when he's like that, isn't a very good decision. But these are the decisions that we make when we're using. You know, we don't think clearly. You know, frustrating that I can't get in touch with him. You know, I've prayed for him. And until I can get in touch with him and potentially speak some sense into him, there's no guarantees. You know, I'll just have to keep praying for him. Recovery, man. Recovery's hard. You know, Paul's had multiple years clean time on a number of occasions, you know, but you see, people who aren't addicts, you know, and people who don't suffer from the disease of addiction, you know, they don't have the level of understanding, you know, and that's a good thing, really. You know, it's a good thing for people not being addicts, of course, and, you know, people who don't suffer, you know, from this disease, they don't need that level of understanding. So, you know, but the people who do suffer from addiction will know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, it's very hard, you know, and the disease, this addiction, it can manifest itself in many ways. You know, it can be many things. You know, mine personally, you know, my addiction is, it's very cunning, it's very patient, you know, and it's very manipulative, you know, and it's dangerous, you know, it's dangerous indeed. You know, and relapse, again, I don't think people who don't have this level of understanding on addiction, you know, they don't appreciate how dangerous relapse is. It's super dangerous and can be deadly. You know, there's a lot of people in the graveyard that were just going on one last session. You know what I mean? And can be fatal. You've got to remember, you know, when we have used in the past, you know, me personally, you know, I could consume quite a lot of drugs, you know, both illegal and prescription. You know, I had this tolerance which was through the roof. You know, I could take all kinds, all day, every day, you know, and the amounts, you know, would always supersede the previous time. And it, you know, just like a weapon of mass consumption when it came to drugs. Then what happens? You get into recovery, you get some clean time, and then your tolerance goes down. You know, your ability to consume these amounts is diminished because you've had clean time. You know, like I say, Paul's had clean time, multiple years clean time on several occasions. You know, so it's worrying really, you know, for Paul especially at the minute, but for anybody who relapses, because like I say, the tolerance to your desired drugs is not there. Then what happens when you start relapsing? You know, because using will never be the same once you're in recovery. Using will never ever be the same when you're in recovery. So when you start using, you get almost like this guilt, and it's a mixture between guilt and fuck it. That's what you think. You can't help it. You think fuck it. So what do you do when you think that? You could consume more. You know, it's not like, you see, addicts like myself, like Paul, and like millions of other people out there, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, you know, we don't have a stop button. You know, there's no off switch. There is never ever a point where we decide that, you know, I think I've had enough. Enough's enough. You know, there's no such animal. There's no such train of thought. It doesn't work like that. You know, the disease of addiction does not work like that. And like I say, once you start, it's very difficult to stop, you know, unless, you know, you're unconscious or you're locked up, you know, you're knocked out or something like that. Usually you know, one of the the catalysts for stopping a session. But relapse is very, very dangerous, you know, because of the state of mind that you enter into, because using will never be the same and you know you shouldn't be doing it. So, you know, that can come with its own dangers. The tolerance isn't there, like I've said. And the dangers are just through the roof, you know. And it's a good thing, you know, that people don't have that level of understanding because they don't need it. That is a brilliant thing. But, you know, I'll tell you something about me. I cannot use, because the second I use, like I look at the 101 days ago, whatever it was, when I had my last relapse. Well, it was about 105 days ago, because I only went down to the funeral for one. And I never stopped till 4 days later, annihilated about 1,800 quid. Just turned into an animal, an absolute monster, you know, because of the reasons that I've just stated before. I couldn't stop. I can't even have a mouthful of alcohol. I cannot have one mouthful. 3 weeks ago, the Continental Market was on up in town, and I got this jealous, envious feeling seeing everybody sat outside in the beer garden drinking. Why? Because I can't do it. I can't have one drink. As soon as that alcohol touches my lips, I'm away. I'm gone. I'm forgetting about all the love that I've got in my life. You know, I love and I'm loved and I've got brilliant relationships. None of that stuff matters to me when I start drinking and I start session. All that stuff goes down the toilet. You know, so I sympathise with Paul and I empathise deeply, because I know what it's like. I know what he's going through. And, you know, I'm going to pray for him until I get in touch with him. You know, and, you know, there could well be, you know, hordes and legions of gutless, you know, narrow-minded fools, you know, calling him and calling anyone that relapses, you know, because they don't understand, they don't have that level of understanding, you know, that they just don't get it. You know what I mean? So it's not something to be laughed at or sneered or sniggered at. You know what I mean? It's a very serious matter indeed. You know, and it's life and death is what it is. So, you know, employ a level of understanding, maybe some sympathy and empathy, you know, towards people who are suffering, you know, the addict who still suffers, because my heart goes out to them. Thanks for listening. Ta-ra for now.